Right.
All right.
Just start. Welcome back to the No Name Podcast. I'm here with Crisco, right?
Yeah.
Crisco. Where'd you get that name? Like Crisco Oil or?
Yeah, like the oil,
Yeah.
like the oil.
Yeah.
So we were in the gym sparring. I'm just gonna let this door
Oh, yeah,
breeze
you
open,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I need the fresh air. So
Yeah.
we were in the gym sparring, man. I had just got to that gym, and it was my first sparring session there, and it's actually really cool, man, because I wasn't in great shape, but I ended up. He was like, "Hey, you're gonna go run 3 miles," and he was like, "Then you can come in and spar." I was like, "Oh shit." Like, I've never done that before.
Yeah.
I was like, I've never even ran 3 miles. I was like, but fuck it, we're going to try it, right? I ended up running 4. And then we get inside, we start sparring, and so they had me against 2 of their amateur guys that are on the amateur team. And I was actually doing really good. We was working, and the first guy, I dropped him. Second guy was making a miss, a lot of punches, and there's a guy there, I don't know if you know him, his name is Vaughn. So he thought it was funny, and he was like, holy shit, this kid is actually good. We need to get him in shape. And the next day when I got in there, they're like, yo, that's Crisco. We're going to start calling you Crisco. And I was like, why? He was like the oil, because you're slippery. You're hard to hit. And so, that's how I got that name.
What's your real name?
Sebastian.
Okay, Sebastian.
Yeah.
And that was at Jason's gym?
No, this was at 4M.
4M. Oh, okay. I've been meaning to go there.
Yeah, it's a good gym.
Yeah.
They got a lot of good guys there.
Really?
They got some really good guys there. I got a lot of cool stories.
They
out
do
there,
like all types of fighting, right? Like Muay Thai, BJJ.
Yeah, they do everything, man. They do everything.
It's dope. So, let's just start off like the beginning. Like, I kind of just like to give a brief intro. Like, where are you from? What do you do? Like, what's your purpose? So, like, where'd you grow up?
So I grew up over here on the east side of Charlotte.
Oh. Wow.
So this is where I grew up. I wasn't born here. I was born like in a city that's close by, and we kind of just moved here when I was younger.
Which city?
Winston-Salem.
Okay, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. So I was born there. We moved here shortly after I was born. Then I lived in Mexico City for a few years, and then I moved back here with my mom. And it's kind of been, that's just it. I've kind of been here since then. So.
Nice. How old are you?
23.
20. Okay. Wow, that's crazy.
How would you
I
think I
thought you were a bit older. I thought you were like 27 or something.
Yeah, no, I'm young, bro. I'm young.
Yeah.
Everybody says that. Yeah. But I feel like I'm old and I'm young at the same time, man. Like, I feel like I don't know, man. I just feel like I'm a little older than what I should be trying to do what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's dope. And, like, this is to anybody out there. I don't accept the podcast from anyone. I mess with Crisco because Jason messes with you.
Yeah.
And Jason doesn't mess with anybody.
Yeah,
He really picks his friends, so
yeah, he's
I was
very
like,
particular.
And I met you that one time and you were very, upfront and open, and I was like, okay, this guy's, he's genuine, so I accepted this podcast just to get to know a little bit more about you. But like, what's your purpose now? Like, just working, like.
Well, I love boxing, man,
Yeah.
and I love inspiring people, and I love just finding those deeper parts of myself, and I think there's a picture right here, this fight. So when I started, I was in a really dark place in my life, like right before I started boxing. Like, I had just come off, I overdosed. Like, I had just, I was just down like a really dark path with drugs. I was, dealing with a lot of things like depression. I was almost like 300 pounds. Dude, I was huge. And I watched Creed, and it just hit something inside of me. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to box. And I started boxing. And I started taking it really seriously. And it wasn't until I watched this fight that it really changed something inside of me. And I really started to, like, this
isn't in the movie.
This isn't in the movie. This is a real fight.
Real. Okay.
So that's Andy Ruiz, right?
Yeah.
He's he was called in late on this fight. That's Anthony Joshua right there. At the time, Anthony Joshua had an O record. He was clean, right? He was a champion. He was a man's man. If you couldn't paint a more perfect heavyweight champion. He's 6'6". He was chiseled. Like this guy was just perfect.
Yeah.
And Andy Ruiz just looked like this couch potato, And I felt like I saw a lot of myself in him. Like, he was really an underdog for this fight. And he was called in last minute. He only had 4 weeks to prepare for the fight. So they called him in and, he actually messaged Eddie Hearn to get the fight because he was like, hey, man, I'm ready. I'm in shape. I want to take the fight. The guy before him got caught using steroids, so they had to... they had to kick him out, man. They couldn't let him fight. And so I believe round 3 in this fight, he gets knocked down in like 2 minutes.
Right.
2 minutes like a minute and 30 seconds into round 3, he gets knocked down. Andy Ruiz is knocked down. He's on the canvas. Everybody's like, oh shit, man, that's it. It's over, right? He gets up off the canvas and knocks down Anthony Joshua 2 times after that. And then again 2 more times after that in round 7. And he won. And he became the first Mexican-American heavyweight champion of the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a really insane fight. Because, if you just looking at his body, you can see his physique.
Doesn't look like he works out or
it
trains.
Doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. And it just really, really inspired me. And I feel like in that moment, coming from such a dark place in my life, in that moment, seeing that fight and watching him get up off of the canvas, like with everybody booing him, like, dude, this guy is nothing. Everybody's like, oh, he's just a fat piece of shit. Like, he's nobody. He's not going to do anything. And I felt like I saw that in myself. And when I saw him get up, it made me feel like I could do something. And I think right then and there, feeling like I could do something, that I had to show somebody else they could do something. That was given to me, and now it's my turn to give that to other people.
Wow, that's dope.
Yeah.
So that's like your purpose now, is just inspiring others. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's something I'm trying to do as well. But that's what I was going to ask you, but you kind of alluded to it. Like, what was a time in your life where you had to make a drastic change?
I think that's a difficult question because there's probably always going to be times in your life where you have to make drastic changes.
Yeah.
You're always going to have to change. And I think there was no one day. It was never just a one day drastic change. It was an every day is a drastic change. Every day is something new. Every day is something new. It's because like imagine imagine today if somebody told you the way that you're living your life is horrible and it's wrong, and then you actually understood that and you had to come to terms with that and realize that I have to change for my life. What happened to me was when I overdosed, I got really bad anxiety and I had really bad PTSD from it. And so like even just the smallest things would make me feel like I was going to die and that, this is my time. And so that just brought me closer to trying to live, trying to find reasons to live. And because I just didn't want to die. And when I realized I didn't want to die, I was like, man, I have so much purpose and so much meaning in my life. That was, what made me want to change. Because at first it wasn't anything that I could have done drastically to change because you're just going to go right back. Yeah. You're just going to go right back. Dealing with addiction, you're just going to go right back. Yeah. Like you can try all the drastic measures. You can try taking all those huge steps, but 9 times out of 10 it fails. Yeah. And the biggest reason it fails is because nobody knows how to cope with their issues. When I was in rehab, that's the first thing I learned. It wasn't that they taught me that. It was the first thing that I learned within myself. It was a more introspective view that I had, where I saw... I realized, man, I just didn't have any way to deal with my problems, man. Like I went through a lot of stuff, dude. Like my dad, he died when I was 3. My stepdad, he was killed when I was 11. My mom, I watched her deal with drugs. I watched my house get foreclosed on. We slept couch to couch to couch to couch to couch. Then I had my own battles with addiction, you know, and I didn't have anybody that I was ever close to growing up that I was able to talk to about my problems. And I realized that I never, like, out of everything I ever did in my life, the reason I became an addict was because I did not know how to deal with my stuff. I had no outlet. I had no way to cope, so I was only being self-destructive. I was only just trying to hurt myself.
Did you go to, like, therapy, or was the gym just your therapy?
Yeah, the gym, but, like, hearing a lot of other people's podcasts was more my therapy, and, you know, just hearing other people's stories was more my therapy. But I do want to get into that, and I do want to actually get real counseling. And
because it sounds like you have a lot of trauma from your past. And I actually, like, I'm an advocate for most people that therapy is not needed, and unless it's certain situations like yourself where they've dealt with trauma or, you know, certain abuse, that you should go talk to someone. But I feel like majority of people, like, for example, my life is very, like, compared to yours, I was raised, like, middle class and didn't have a lot of problems to complain about, which is a lot of people. But then they just start complaining about things that they shouldn't complain about. Like, look at someone else's situation and compare that to yourself. So it's like,
well, see, here's my take on that. Here's my take on that, is that's not a good idea. You should never compare somebody else's situation and yours to find gratitude. You should just find gratitude in your situation at all times, because it doesn't matter. If you have money, that doesn't make a difference. Because there's a guy, he asked it was a great question. He said, if I gave you $10 million today and you had to die tomorrow, would you take it? Would you?
No.
Why? Because your life is worth more than that. So just on the base that you're waking up today, your life is worth more than that. So to find value, to devalue somebody else's life, to find value in yours is a horrible way to look at it. The best way to look at it is just to find gratitude in every single day things. That's the best. That's the best thing that you can do. That's the only way to, you know. It's, how do I put this? If you're trying to do something, if you're trying to better yourself, right, you don't go, you know, just looking at, you know, how bad your situation could be to see how great you can make your situation, right? You would just want to look at how great you can make your situation and how great your situation already is, right? Because, like, when I was trying to change myself, it wasn't I'm changing myself. It was I am that individual. That's who I am. A world champion, that's who I am. It's not about, even if I never get a world title, it's not about that. It's about the fact of my ability to overcome these obstacles in my day-to-day life.
But what were we talking about?
So what I was saying is, when I had to change my life, it wasn't I was trying to change myself, right? Because the problem is that people think it's something wrong with them, and that's what they need to change. There's nothing wrong with you. If you feel like you need to change, it's nothing that's wrong with you. It's the fact that you're associating who you are with what you do. And who you are has nothing to do with what you do. Because you can fail all you want, and that has nothing to do with who you are. Because failure doesn't make you a person. Nobody's a failure. You know, that's just a label that you put on people. But you are not that. You are on a different plane than that. Your mind is what you are. You're what controls the mind, what controls the body.
Sorry to cut you off. I think, like, your actions can define you, but your past doesn't define you. Like, your mistakes, but what you're doing now, that's going to define you. So if you don't change, then you're going to be a result of your actions.
Yeah. That's true, but it's not about what you do. It's about who you are. It's about the person that you are, because it doesn't matter what you do in your life. It just matters the kind of person that you are. So, you know, like, what kind of person do you want to be? It's not about what you do, because I can box, or I can just draw, or I can, you know, be a gamer.
It's a character.
It's just who you are, right? And so it is a part of what you do, and I do agree with that. But, you know, what you do doesn't make you. That's just what other people paint you out to be. And I think that the more you understand that, the more you have a chance to evolve into your highest form of self. Because you're not trying to become somebody. You already are that. And now it's the unbecoming of everything that you're not. Now it's, I'm not an addict. Now it's, I'm not a failure. Now it's I'm not a fuck up. Now it becomes all the things that I'm not. And you're disassociating yourself from the problem. Because the problem isn't that you're an addict. The problem is that you're struggling with addiction.
Yeah. So, like, do you think these labels we put on ourselves, like, hinder us? Like, oh, I'm an addict, or oh, I have ADHD, or like...
Yeah, because you're not ADHD. And you have it doesn't mean you can't overcome it. There's so many people that have ADHD and that overcome it. So many
I think it's a problem where people look at it as a crutch. But really, it can be a strength. Like, I think some of the most famous minds had ADHD, like Albert Einstein, Kanye.
And Albert's dyslexic too.
Yeah.
So even like he said, it's not that I was good at finding the answer. He said I just stuck with the problem longer. And like you were saying, a crutch, man. But what is a crutch really? Like, what's a wheelchair? You know, it's really freedom. It's really a strength, you know? And so until people look at their weaknesses as their strength, they're going to continue to be weaknesses, you know?
Yeah. So if someone asked you, like, what is the purpose of life, what would you say?
Well, there's stages to that, you know? One of the first stages is definitely going to be, you know, finding a purpose. So, you know, when you're growing up, you need to feel yourself. You need to find yourself, right? But the biggest thing is finding a purpose, right? You need to find a purpose for your life. Once you find a purpose for your life, then you pursue that passionately, right? You give that on to other people, and you help people find themselves. It's all about finding your highest self. It's all about evolving. It's all about evolution. It's all about, you know, trying to be the best version of yourself. Because you look at trees, man, and you look at like if you're walking down the street and you see like a rose coming out of the concrete, like Tupac says, you know, and like that's amazing, dude. That's amazing. Like coming from like underneath concrete, almost an impossible barrier to break, that even if you tried right now with just your bare hands, and think about a rose, they don't even have as the strength as us, you know, like with your bare hands, just with your physical body, to be able to break through concrete and to come out on the other side of that.
Wow, yeah. Never thought of that. So how often do you think of death?
Every day, man. Every day. You have to. You're living. Right?
Like, did that, like when you overdosed and you were almost died, like thinking of death, did that change your way of living, kind of?
Yeah. Drastically. Yeah. That's what changed me. You know? It wasn't that I wanted to do something so great that changed me. It was that I did not want to die.
Yeah.
And that wanting to do something so great came after that.
Did you not want to die as that person? And you're like, oh, I didn't achieve what I wanted to. I still have to keep living. Like,
no,
is that
I just was scared. I just was scared. That's it. Just terrified, like a child, just like petrified. Had no understanding why I was so scared, but I was just, you know, terrified. I just didn't want this to end. Whatever this is, whatever this experience is that we're going through, you know, I just didn't want this to end. I just wanted to keep living. Yeah. You know, and for some reason there is so much value in this just continuing and just going that I had to make those changes. You know.
So, do you think there is life after death?
I think it's a lot deeper than that, man. I think it's really deep. I don't know. It's a really deep rabbit hole to get into, you know. But even if you want to, I can definitely.
I mean, your thoughts.
Talk about it.
I mean, everyone has their own.
Yeah, everybody has their own opinion, but I think, man, there's, for some reason, I feel like, you know, when you have children, I feel like that's you. And I feel like that you give yourself the life that you want, whether you know it or not. That this is the life that you chose. I think this is all just to define I think this whole life is just to find out who you are as an individual.
Mm.
You know, to see, you know, like there's what is it? It's an Adventure Time when Jake and Finn, they're talking, and Finn's like, oh man, like he was like really upset about it, and Jake was like, don't be mad, this is all just a game, it's not real, none of this is real, it's just you know, a test to see your heroic traits. You know, and I feel like in reality that's really a lot of life, man, because how many times have there been situations where you could have been a better person and it actually would have helped you, and you chose to vibrate on like a lower frequency, and you know, you're just like, man, I should have just did the right thing. I knew better than that. I shouldn't have even did that. Right? It's like that. And it's those tests. And, you know, it's just until you pass those tests, you're not going to get to that next level of life. But that next level of life, you know, it's contingent on who you are, you know, because for some people it is wealth, and for some people it isn't. But, you know, I think what a lot of people don't understand is what wealth can do for you and your family, and, you know, how you'll be able to take care of yourself, and how you can really be, you know, how you can really impact people with it.
I saw a post that was like by this guy. Have you heard of him, Imam Ghazi? He's like a self-improvement guy on YouTube, but he said the only way you can change the world is by money and influence. If you don't have that, change yourself first, then change your family, then your friends, then your community, then think about changing the world.
Yeah, well, I agree with that to an extent, but you know, like the butterfly effect, right? You know, like you go back in time, like you step on a bug, internet's never invented. You know,
I've heard of it.
Like the hot tub time machine, where he was like, you step on a bug, like internet's never invented. So like, I mean, people don't realize the level of influence that you have. If you want to change the world, you can do it from your home. You know, you can do it from here. We're doing it right now. You know,
I think that was his point. Was like, you need either money or influence. So
see, that's I agree with that to an extent. Like you might need some influence, man, but it does not take anything. When I was working at Pizza Hut, and I was out here, you know, just trying to do things to help other people, I would, at the end of the night, I'd have 20, 30 pizza boxes left over. Just full pizzas. People wouldn't pick them up, you know, and, you know, corporate would make us just throw it away. I wouldn't do that. I would literally write on I would fucking pull out sticky notes, and I would write notes on, like, you know, like, don't give up, just keep trying. And I would go out. We had Tent City back then.
Oh,
you know?
I know.
Yeah, I know you remember that, right? When we had Tent City? Yeah.
It's still there, right?
No, it's not there. They moved it. The city of Charlotte, you know, they took it out.
Oh, wow.
And, so now, you know, those guys that had Tent City before, now they don't even have that anymore.
They just don't have a home.
Yeah, I know. And there was kids there, man. Oh, and I used to take pizzas to them. And there was children there, like multiple children, you know, and just imagine, you're literally in probably one of the lowest points of your life. And all it takes sometimes is somebody's words to affect you, you know? And I don't think people understand how strong your words really are, and just how powerful they are. I mean,
let alone the pizza. It's like food.
Bro, because just like, think about it. These kids are hungry. They haven't ate. And now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some guy comes up to you. You haven't even ate in 2 days. And some guy comes up to you with a whole pizza and a note that says, don't give up. There's still hope. You can still make a difference, and you can still be somebody. That's changing the world. And I didn't need to post that. I didn't need to take pictures of that. They know, you know, they know how it impacted them. And, you know, to see people just cry just from reading a note, that changes you.
I can see that. I can see your point, because in my religion, Islam, God says, quote me if I'm wrong, but God says, like, if you help just one person that is in need of help, it's like you've helped all of humanity.
Yeah, it is. Because think about it. Think about that. When I saw that fight and how that impacted me, just from watching that fight, how that impacted me, the things that I've changed. I used to smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I was doing really hard drugs, man. I was really hard on coke. I was really hard on meth. I was doing hard drugs. I don't even smoke anymore. I haven't even touched a cigarette in like...
but how long?
I don't even know, man. It's been a long time.
Because, like, I have friends that struggle with vaping.
It's really hard to quit. And I'm gonna tell you why. It's because it's so socially acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of them don't. They just by themselves in their room.
Well, and what I'm saying is it's socially acceptable. Meaning it's just okay to do it. Like, it's okay if you do it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody's judging you.
And they start, like, I don't want to call out any of my friends, but when I bring it up and they start kind of, like, justifying why they're doing it, they're like, oh, like, people drink caffeine, like, but, like, bro, it's not the same. Like,
yeah, it's not. It's not the same. And it does have a lot of bad effects, you know, but like I said, man, like, it's just, dude, you gotta find something deep. Like, when it comes to addiction, man, people don't realize. I haven't drank soda in probably 4 years. I haven't even drank soda. I don't drink soda anymore. But that was one of the key factors of why I was so heavy, why I gained so much weight, right? But I knew in order to lose the weight, I had to cut it out. But there was another, reason behind me losing the weight, as I was really scared to die. Okay. You know? And so it was constantly, like, on my back, on my neck, like, constant fear, And so I was like, man, I gotta do this. But, you can do that to yourself. You just have to realize the gravity of your situation, Like, there's a scientist, man. What is his name? He did a study on water molecules, and there's a lot of people that have done this, where he even did one where he put rice in water, and he had 3 cups. He had one that he didn't acknowledge. He had one that, he said negative words to, like, I hate you and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I know,
Yeah. So, and the one that he spoke positively to, fermented, well, the one that negative, molded. And I don't remember what happened to the one that he didn't acknowledge, but I'm pretty sure it molded. I think it might have just took a little longer. But, if just words alone can affect, water molecules in your body's, I think there's a study now, your body's 60% water.
70 something,
Yeah. So if your body's if more than half of your body's water, and just words are affecting water like this, it's just like, just think about it, man. All it takes is him, like, even trying to justify it, and you're just in an endless cycle. And you're just in an endless cycle. That's why I say you got to find something really, really deep.
Like, that's something I struggled with, was, like, putting myself down. Like, I struggled with confidence, and I'm still, like, overcoming it. But I hate to say this guy's name, because everyone's like, oh, you're just jumping on the train. But watching Andrew Tate, like, seeing how he talks about, like, it's all in your mind. Like, you are what you tell yourself. Like, if you tell yourself you're depressed, you're going to be depressed, which is, like, it's also a case-by-case scenario, like, if you've gone through trauma.
Yeah, but then again, bro, that's, I call bullshit on people who just go through and just say, oh, I'm just up from it forever. You're not. You're not.
It's what you tell yourself.
It's you know what it is. I'm going to tell you this right now, right? Your body physiologically can't tell the difference between an experience and a memory. I don't know if you know this, right? There's a scientist, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about this. Your body does not know the difference. It's going to respond chemically the exact same way, right? So if you're depressed, and I just want you to think about this, So let's say, like with me and my father dying, or my stepfather when he was killed, right? He was murdered. So, and I relived that for a long time. For a long time, I put myself mentally, I just, went through that memory again over and over and over.
You saw it happen?
No, I didn't see it happen. No, God, no. Yeah. Well, but, I just remember, just waking up to the news that, hey, man, he was shot last night, because me and him talked on the phone before. He was supposed to come see me.
Your stepdad, or
my stepdad?
Okay.
Yeah, so I was 11 at the time. He was supposed to come see me. He was like, hey, man, I hope you got the money I sent your mom. I was like, yeah, I got some shoes. I got fight night, championship. So it was like, we're going to play. He used to call me Butterbean, right? And to this day, there's not a day that goes by I don't think about this. There's not a single day that goes by that I don't think about him. But you have to understand the level of love that I received from him, right? I didn't have a dad. He was the closest thing to a dad. So when he didn't make it home that night, I knew something was wrong. I knew there was something off. I knew it. How? He just did not come home. He didn't make it, And I was so mad. I was so angry. And at the time, my mother had lied to me about who my father was and that he was this guy in Mexico. And, you know, and so I never met him then. I had never met him. And I was like, man, actually I did. I met him once. But I was like, man, I just want to see my dad, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, the next morning, my brother, you know, I seen him crying. And he came and he broke the news to me. He was like, hey, man, sorry, but Bay is his name. I got it tattooed right here.
Okay.
So he was like, hey, Bay got shot last night. They robbed him. And, you know, he didn't make it. He bled out. Wow. Yeah, he died in front of the hospital.
And how long did that take you to, like, recover from? Like,
you know, I'm still recovering from it. You know, and it's because of how much I put myself in that moment. And I think, like, a lot of times, like, people, you know, we'll make it worse for ourselves. Yeah. Like, we'll drag it out longer than what it needs to be. Yeah. We'll like, hurt ourselves over it over and over and over and over. And think about this. Your body can't tell the difference from it actually happening and you remembering it. Yeah. So what does that do to your body? You know? Chemically, it's going to respond the exact same way to that stress. Right? So you're living in that stress, and this takes your body out of homeostasis. And I don't know if you know this or not, but when your body's like misaligned and out of homeostasis like that, it causes a lot of inflammation. That causes all kinds of diseases. And that's also why, you know, we know now that diseases start in the mind before they even start in the body. Yeah. So my stepdad died, man. And you got to think I'm reliving this every day. And your body physiologically, it can't tell the difference between what you're remembering and what actually happened. So chemically, it's going to respond the same way. And when you're constantly reliving that, it's taking your body out of homeostasis. So now instead of just being like a normal person, you're stressed out all the time. And when you're not stressed out, your body, your mind is trying to bring you back into that to keep you at a new balance, right? Because your body has to maintain some kind of homeostasis. That's where you get ADHD from. That's where you get all these things from. So and we literally make it worse for ourselves, because how many times have you been sad and now you want to put on a sad song and you just want to live in that moment? Right? People do that all the time.
I talked about that a lot with the music, the frequencies.
Absolutely, man. And so like I said, recently my cousin, we were really close. Like, we lived together. We went to elementary school together, middle school together, high school together. He was more of a brother to me than anything. And me and him were really close. And we had a lot of close experiences. He just passed away last year. Oh. Yeah, he passed away.
How old was he?
He was 24.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he died of an overdose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you know, like, he was going through it with the drugs, or?
I didn't know exactly what was going on with him, but I knew he and the rest of my family and his close immediate family, they were all on bad terms. Me and him were not on bad terms. Me and him were never on bad terms. And I always told him how much I loved him and how I was proud of him. And I always just loved him for who he was, you know, because that's the thing, is that you can't love somebody for who you want them to be. You have to love them for who they are.
Who they are, yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how much you love somebody. They'll never change. So if you love somebody, you have to love them.
Their flaws.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the same thing with yourself, man. You have to love you for you. You can't love yourself and just disacknowledge the bad shit. Like, no, bro. Like, you know, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I know that. I know I do fucked up shit. I know how lazy I can be. I know how, and then there's also the other side of that. Like, I know how hardworking I can be. I know how disciplined I can be, but I also know how undisciplined I can be. You know, and you have to be okay with who you are, because if you're not, then you'll never make it anywhere.
It's like me and Jason talked about this. It's like a balance between being self-aware and then condemning yourself. Yeah. It's like, do you have like deep insecurities?
Of course.
And how do you deal with that? Like,
I don't know, man. Sometimes you just gotta throw yourself in that water, bro. Sometimes you just gotta throw yourself in that water. Sometimes I'm really insecure about how I look when I'm running. I'm really insecure, but I run a lot. You know, I run frequently. I don't run as much as I want to. Yeah. But you know, that's because I'm dealing with certain issues like that. I'm trying to, you know, I'm dealing with certain, you know, problems like physically, so I can't run as much as I want to. But a lot of times, man, especially when I'm in the gym, dude, and I'm just in there shadow boxing, like, I'm like, dude, I probably look like a dumbass. Like, I probably look like a jack or something. And so, like, you know, that's always hard to deal with, but I kind of just throw myself in the water. Like, I don't care about how I look, how I dress sometimes. I don't care about how, people see me.
Yeah.
And I think that we probably get caught up too much in that.
Yeah, I struggle with that too, like thinking too much about people's perception of your opinion. But I saw this guy, he was talking about, like, on YouTube, he was saying that, why should I care what other people think about me? Are they paying my bills? Are they wiping my like?
Yeah, no,
like,
you shouldn't give a f- about what other people think about you, And the other thing is that most of the time, nobody's even caring what they're doing. Nobody really cares, dude.
They probably look for a second and then they go back to thinking about themselves. Like,
Yeah. Nobody's like, oh man, whatever. He's just doing his thing. And me, you know what? I feel like the less judgment that you cast on people, the easier it is for you to deal with your insecurities. Because like the more judgmental you are, the more you have to deal with that within yourself. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And I dealt with that, like, I used to be in a friend group where it was all about, like, everyone was judging you, like, for your flaws, like, if you did something wrong. So you're always on edge.
Yeah.
And it's like you never feel like you can be yourself.
Like you can't f up.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I don't know, I just felt like I couldn't be myself. And then once I left, I became more confident. And I spent a lot of time alone, too, like, where I was like, I just be more comfortable with myself than needing friends. And I got more friends along the way, but, like, do you think it's important to have that, like, alone time? Like,
I think it is. I think you need alone time, definitely, man. And I think you also need, like you were talking about with music, man, you need, like, fasting with music, man.
Yeah.
Like, running without it, like, walking through the park without it, like, and just really connecting with yourself and who you are. Because think about, like, when you're working out, dude, like, and you're listening to music, what are you looking for when you're listening to music?
Like motivation.
Exactly. You're looking for that next rep. But why are you looking for it on the outside? Why aren't you looking for it on the inside?
Intrinsically,
Yeah. Once it becomes more intrinsic, then you become closer with yourself and you stop. The insecurity battle is, like, easier to deal with. You'll never finish it. It's always going to be a battle, but it becomes easier to manage. You know what I'm saying?
And I told in my last video, I made a challenge to people, but I'm kind of a hypocrite because I don't do it myself enough.
Man,
but
I do that all the time.
But it's like, take 30 minutes out of each day and just go for a walk in your house, go for a drive, and don't listen to any music, don't watch a podcast, just think about your life and just ponder.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
Yeah.
I'm actually probably about to do that after this, too.
Just, go for a walk, or I need to do, I mainly do it on drives, like, I won't listen to anything. I'll just drive and think. But yeah, it makes you, like, self-reflect and realize, like, I need to work on this, or,
There was something else I did want to talk about with my cousin that passed away. And I know there's a lot of people, I don't know, have you ever dealt with death with close families?
Just my grandfather, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. When he passed away and he overdosed, I saw a lot of myself in that. And me and him lived a really similar life. And we hung around a lot of the same people. And we talked to a lot of the same people. And we did a lot of the same things. And every day that shit eats at me like, yo, that could have been me. And it was him. And that fucks with me. But also, I gave a speech, actually, at his funeral. And I feel like I actually was the only person who was prepared enough to actually just say anything. But here, I'm going to read it to you because I know somebody somewhere probably needs to hear this.
Yeah.
All right, let me see where it is. But the reason I wanted to speak about it is because when he passed away, I had closure from it. I was able to get closure from it. I was able to deal with it, and I was able to not. It didn't hinder me from living my life. And I think a lot of people let these traumas and stuff like that keep them from living. So here's what I wrote, though. As we all gather today to mourn the loss of Colby Allen, we should also note both sides of the coin that he left us with. Although he was very young, very ambitious, very courageous, and very outgoing, he was stifled by the hand that he was dealt, and some obstacles can't be overcome alone. And whilst he was on the journey of overcoming himself to live a higher purpose, he didn't have all the fertilizer and soil to grow through the pain that he was planted in, so he was buried. And he coped the only way he knew how. It is very unfortunate that life has to be this way. However, losses are only losses when nothing comes from this. But so much has came from this that it is even more important to allow Colby's passing to guide us in a direction of our highest potential every day. I think he would want us to do more with the amount of time that we have been given, so this is not a time to be depressed, but a time to allow all of our inexpressible love to be seen as grief, and all of our reflections to be seen as a reminder to live our life to the fullest today and every day that is to come. And we can only be certain that death is guaranteed when life is given, but living is a choice that you make every single day.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Man. What was people's reaction?
Well, probably, a lot of people, I think, I got like a little bit of a clap, but I mean, it's a funeral. Like, you don't clap at a funeral. Yeah. Like, everybody is mourning, man. Yeah. Like, this is like it's a real hard time to deal with death. Yeah. And I was just trying to, be real, not just try to lighten the mood, but like really, really be real with everybody. Like, don't let this break you, And if it does break you, only let it be so that you can build yourself up again better, Yeah. Like some people, somebody dies that's close to them, and they just mope around all day for months. And I get it. I understand. Losing somebody is hard. It is really hard. And understanding that, even if it was somebody that was like you were really dependent on every day, it can be really hard. But if you allow that stress and that depression to overcome you, man, life is going to be even harder.
Yeah, and they probably wouldn't want that for you too.
Yeah, they wouldn't want you. They would want you to understand how valuable your life is, because now that they're gone and you're seeing how hard it is with them gone, imagine how hard it's going to be when you're gone.
Yeah, man.
So it should give you reasons to live. It shouldn't keep you from living. If somebody dies, it should not keep you from living. It should give you more reasons to live. Right, and it should be like, oh, they just died. And like we shared so much together, dude. And like we were so, you know what, man? I need to start living more. I need to actually like enjoy this time that I have. What have I done today? Like I could die tomorrow. I haven't even gone to the park, man. When's the last time I went outside to just go breathe? Yeah. When's the last time? Because you don't even care if you don't even thinking about your breath halfway throughout the day. Oh, yeah. But imagine if you just ran out of breath and you're like, I can't breathe. Yeah. But you're breathing fine right now. So like how often do you think like, man, I'm breathing. Holy shit, dude, I'm here. And like, there's nothing more powerful than that, man. That's where all the power comes from. People want to change. That. Don't change, man. Be your best self. Be you. Be who you are. You don't have to change. You have to be you. But you have to be who you really are, and that's the problem. People want to.
It's always been inside of you. Yeah.
It's and that's what I'm saying. Like it's always there. Like you're that guy. Like, and that's the thing, bro. Like even you, bro. Like right now, like you're that guy. Like you, bro. You're really him. But sometimes you probably don't see that.
Yeah, it's strange because like. A lot of times I'll have self-doubt of who, like my own abilities, and then it'll be like people like Jason or like people that watch my content that'll come up to me and be like, oh, like I actually mess with your stuff, like, and I'm like, oh, I
bro,
didn't know.
I ain't even gonna lie. That's why I wanted to link up with you for sure. I was like, dude, this guy's doing it. He's really about this shit, man. He can make some fire content. And like I was like, bro, we definitely need to lock in. We need to link up, and we need to get to work. And
like it doesn't even hit me till I get a message from like, and I don't have a crazy following. Like maybe like 10 people watch my stuff, but like those 10 people, like they always message me and they're like, oh, like how are you doing? Like, and they're genuinely like care about me, and I care about them. So it's like, and I think that's died.
Yeah, my camera died.
I thought I was taking a picture.
But
what was I saying? Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the relationship you should have with your followers. Is like, it's not just about clout and like follower count. It's like, can I genuinely impact this person's life and change their life, and then we develop a friendship and a bond. And then I can meet them in the future, and we build each other up. I can learn something from that guy.
For sure, man. Yeah, for sure. Cause before I even had like a decent following, man, like it was just like 5 or 6 guys that would constantly, you know, share my stuff or, you know, really interact with me. And that's what really matters, man. Because, like, you don't even know. Like, out of those 5 or 6 guys, they might take what you're doing. They might take that to the next level. Yeah. And that might be you impacting the world in your own way, you know? Because, like I said, it doesn't even matter what you do. Because it doesn't even matter. If this doesn't even go around, bro, it doesn't even matter. Because if the whole... I don't need the whole world to see this. You saw it. I saw it. We lived it. You experienced it. And you are going to walk out of here being better. And I'm going to walk out of here being better. Because there's things that you asked me that made me reflect on myself and where can I improve. And now there's things that I've said that I'm sure you're like, holy, I think I can. Damn, that makes sense. You know?
Like, there'll be YouTubers that, like, sit down like this and they're just hating on other people. Yeah. And it's like, bro, what is that doing? Like,
that I don't want to hate on nobody, man. I don't want to hate on nobody, man. Everybody's trying. Everybody's trying. Nobody knows. Nobody has it figured out. None of us have it figured out, but we're all trying to figure it out. We're all like, and the ones that are really close, you know, instead of hating, you know, just lift people up, man. I was driving my car today, and I ran into a scat pack on the highway, and I was like, bro, fuck it, let's race. I wasn't gonna win, bro. I already knew, like, bro, I wasn't gonna win that. My car's timing's kind of off, and, like, you know, it's just not the beast it used to be. But my still goes, and so we were racing, man, and we were even on the first pull, and then he just took off on the long pull, man. He gapped the out of me, pulled up beside him, and he was trying to laugh at me, but I wasn't trying to laugh. I was like, dude, that car is a beast. And then when he saw my response, his whole just demeanor changed. You know?
Yeah, I think, like, with me, it's like I play a lot of basketball, so people take it way too serious.
Yeah, dude.
Like, it's like, bro, we're just playing. Like, even if I'm talking trash, like, it's not anything malicious. And this one guy was, like, really mind-boggling to me because I know he's just acting tough. Because it was like him and his buddies, they're in their 20s, they're a little bit bigger than me. And then my team was, like, mainly, like, young high schoolers in pickup. And I was like, all right, our team's a little small, but I'm still going to play. It's fun. You know, it's basketball. It's just a game. And he kept, you know, going in the paint and being like, oh, y'all are small. Y'all are soft. And one of the high schoolers, I was like, all right, it's just a game. I'm not going to get butthurt about him scoring in the paint. He's bigger than me. Just a game. One of the high schoolers got butthurt and was talking trash back. So this big dude starts talking trash back to the high schooler, and it looks like he's genuinely mad.
Really?
And I'm like, bro, you would not have this same energy if the guy was bigger than you.
Yeah.
So, like,
but that's the other problem too, man. It's like, it's those guys that do that, they can't fight. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why, man, because I can fight. Like, I'm a fighter, man, and I can really like, I can f somebody up. And I have f up a lot of people. I worked security, and I had to fight a lot of people, man. I've had to fight a lot of people. Last guy I fought, I hit him and I broke his whole cheekbone. Like, that shit was dented in, dude. That shit was disgusting.
When was this?
It was ugly as f. It's down the street. It's a bar I was working. I'm not gonna put the name out there. But so yeah, man, I cracked the dude with a really solid shot, and he was bigger than me, man. He was way than me. He was like I'm 5'6", dude. I'm short, and he was like at least like 6'2", 6'3", and he was not a small dude. But he kept putting his hands in my face, and I told him, I said, dude, keep putting your hands in my face. I'm gonna f you up. And he kept doing it, and he was trying me, like deliberately trying to fight me in the bar. And I was like, man, you need to go. And I told my boy, I was like, look, dude, let's drag him out. And he was like, that, whoop his ass. He keeps trying me. I was like, all right, whatever. And I did. And I hit him 3 times. But on the 3rd time, shattered his whole cheekbone. I've never seen that in person. I saw it like when Canelo did it to Billy Joe Saunders when they fought, and he broke his orbital. Yeah, that's what I did to this guy, man. But his was up, and I felt it. I felt like his face when I hit him. I felt that shot crack him, and he fell over, and he didn't know what was going on, and I knew like I broke something. Yeah, you know.
Did he sue you?
No. We kicked this out. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess if you're security, you have every right to. Right?
No, you don't have the right. You don't even have the right to do that. I shouldn't have did that. I shouldn't have put my hands on him like that. But you know, with guys like that, man, I can't wrestle him down.
But he didn't snitch, like.
Nah, he wasn't gonna do. is.
Yeah.
But it's like I can't wrestle that guy down. I'm too small. He's
so you had to punch
so
him.
I had that's the only way I could defend myself was I had to fight this dude.
Yeah, sometimes they say the best defense is more offense.
Yeah, for real. Because there's nothing I can do. Because if I try to choke him out, and sometimes I can, but when it's a guy that's bigger and stronger than you gotta fight your fight, bro. Like I'm not a tall, big guy, so I gotta fight my fight. Like if I can get you down and if I can grapple you, then I'm going to. And if I feel like I can do it, and there's guys I've put to sleep in the bar, like I've choked them out. I've had to put them in chokeholds, and sometimes like they'll get really, really aggressive, and you're a man, dude. Like men are just strong, some guys are just like really strong, dude, and I'm not like the strongest guy out here, but I know how to use my body, and I know how to defend myself.
So you've been in enough fights to know what works.
I know how to defend myself. And like I said, like with this guy, man, he was just too big. I'm just not gonna myself because all it takes is him to I can throw hands. But if he gets me in a bad position, this is like a street fight, man. Like anything goes, dude.
Someone could come with a bottle, like
dude. He can, bro. All he has to do is just grab me, and I'm in an awkward position, and he can just smash me, dude. And that's it. So I have to think like, what logically, like this guy is right now. He wants to fight me. What can I do? I'm not gonna wait for him to throw a punch because if he lands a punch, he's big enough to really hurt me. So what do I have to do? I have to throw the first shots. That's it. And I'm gonna make sure that I hurt him. Because if I don't hurt him and if I don't break him and if I make sure if I don't really hurt him, then he's gonna try to kill me because that's how it goes. Like, and I've seen I've had people try to stab me with bottles, like they'll break and try to fucking stab me with it. I've had people try to hit me in the face with bottles, and luckily I have good reflexes. Because if not, man, there's so many times I would have got just bad.
One of my friends said that like in a street fight, I don't think he's ever been in a street fight, but I think Andrew Tate said this as well, like the best thing to do is get one good hit and then just bounce. Like, what do you think about that? Yeah,
I mean, that works too, man. But, like, when you're in a street fight, man, you have to gain respect first. Like, you have to get this guy's respect. And the first thing that you can do is, like, hurt them. If you got to hurt them somehow.
But do you need another man's respect? Like,
no, but when they're trying to kill you, you need their respect. Because when you're in a street fight, like, okay, if I'm in a bar and this guy is drunk and he's coked up, he's like doing a bunch of coke, he's not even in his right mind. He's not even gonna think. He's going only off of impulses. We only use 10% of our brain at a time. So this guy, he's not even using that because it's all clouded by how drunk he is, how fucked up he is, and how like he's not even that drunk. He's drunk enough to where he's like, man, I'll fucking hurt somebody because I'm all coked up. And that's how they get, dude. Guys, when they do a lot of coke and they drink a lot, that's how they get. They just want to hurt people. And like
even some drunk dudes, like
even just like that's why like raging alcoholics. That's why that's a thing, man. These guys get so angry.
Yeah, like remember I was at I used to do music videos. I was at a shoot. This dude was really drunk, and he just started like pressing me. And I was already on my way out, so I was just like kind of, because he was chill to me in the beginning, but as he got more drunk, he was pressing me. And I'm not confrontational. I've never been in a fight, so I was like little taken back by it. And then his buddy was like, "Oh no, he's good. Like, don't worry." But I was like, what if it got to that point where I did have to fight him? Like, that's why like I'm really adamant now about, especially myself, like guys learning how to fight, training, sparring. Like it needs. If you're a guy, you have to know how to fight.
You need to learn some kind of. But the other thing is what you got to understand is that if this guy's drunk and you're sober, you have the upper hand. You completely have the upper hand. One, he's not. He doesn't have like. I don't know if you've ever sparred. I don't know, but if anybody who knows anything about fighting knows that it takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort, and you have to actually be conditioned to be any good at it, right? So if you're in a situation like that, like. This guy's drunk, dude. Like, one, he's already up. Have you ever tried to run when you're drunk? Like, you don't have conditioning. You don't have wind. And not to mention, he doesn't have any coordination. So he's just going to throw wild punches. So if you can just bring your mind to say, okay, I know what I'm going to do. Like, even if you've never fought before, like, I'm just going to crack this dude. He can't dodge that shit. He's fucking drunk. He's not going to dodge it. He's just going to stand there, and you're just going to hit him, and he's just going to fall over. You know, like there's no, he can't really get away from it, and it doesn't take a lot to tip one of these guys over.
Yeah.
You hit him one time. I had this dude. He was really up, and out of nowhere he punched me in the back of the head, like for nothing. I didn't even do shit. And like somebody else one of the other security was kicking him out, and he just punched me in the back of the head. I turned around and I just stuck him with a jab, and he fell over, and then he just was looking at me on the ground. He was like, you know. And he was like fucked up, dude. But I only hit him just because he punched me, you know. So and he got up and was like, "You're strong today." He's like, "But you're not gonna be strong tomorrow when I'm so like, bro. No, you're just dude. Just go home. Just go home, man.
Yeah, never a good idea to be around drunk people.
Yeah, no, 'cause they can be really violent. But the problem is some men are really strong, and they're strong enough to kill you. Yeah, and you never know. You cannot judge people.
And anything can happen in a street fight. Like you hit your head on the concrete or table. Like,
that's why it's life or death. When you're in a street fight, it really. I mean, even in MMA and boxing and all that shit, combat sports, it is life or death, bro. Like, believe it or not, man, these people are like really trying to fuck you up and take you out. And like that is that's why people have so much fear. That's why people get like when you get confrontation. That's why you have so much fear. And that's a good thing though, because you should be scared. You're supposed to be scared because if you're not scared, there's something wrong with you.
But it's about like I guess embracing that fear. Like okay, I'm scared, but
what am I gonna do
like it's fight or flight. Like
I
think a lot of times in my life it was flight.
Yeah.
But now I'm like trying to learn like okay, like face the situation, and it's okay if you're scared. Like, because you'll come out of it, like, stronger.
Yeah, you will. Yeah. You will, man. And it's okay. It's okay to be. It's okay to run. 9 times out of 10, bro, it's better just to get the fuck away.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
9 times out of 10, just leave, dude. Yeah. There's so many situations where I could have died if I didn't. If my instincts didn't kick in. Yeah. If your instincts are telling you to run, just fucking run, dude.
That's good that you tell people that.
You shouldn't like if you're not trained to fight, if you don't like train it, if it's not like a real discipline and you feel like you could get fucked up, then you should probably listen to that gut feeling and get the fuck out of there and just not fight.
So like I bring up this argument a lot that one of my friends disagrees. He's been in street fights in India. He's been in like gangs and stuff. But his thing is like I basically told him that I have this gripe with bodybuilders that the guys that just go into the gym, just bench and lift, and they're just doing it for vanity, and they don't do cardio. Like, a guy who doesn't lift as much, but he lives and breathes fighting, and I think that guy would beat the bodybuilder.
Any day. Any day of the week. Any day of the week. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of coordination. Because I can see everything that if you don't fight, bro, you telegraph every single punch. And boxers know this more than anybody about like any kind of like motions. So when I'm boxing somebody, I'm staring right at their chest. I'm looking for any kind of twitches, anything, right? And I'm just trying to see what he's gonna throw. Right, I'm looking at their feet. I'm looking at their arms, like their shoulders and stuff like that. I'm trying to see like where he's posturing his weight at. That's gonna tell you a lot about how somebody's gonna throw. But a lot of guys, especially bodybuilders, here's the thing. When you're working all those slow twitch fibers, right? All those like slow fibers when you're trying to get all swollen. It like in bodybuilders, I think what is it? It was it's a study that guys that just do like really heavy lifting and don't work a lot of those fast twitch fibers, they're slower than just regular people. And it was like an actual study. And so the other thing is so if all I do is work fast twitch fibers, I'm faster than the average individual when it comes to a punch. And if because I've had all this training, I have a better reaction time to see a punch coming and just move the out the way. And I can come back and boom, boom, boom. And that's helped me out a lot. The thing is like if you see like these big swole guys, man, that's all in front. If they like always trying to fight somebody, that's all in front, man. They can't fight. I got into it with somebody at Fitness Connection. This dude, I don't even remember his name. But man, he just was talking shit to me one day. I was talking to somebody else. I wasn't even talking to him. I was like, yeah, dude, I just got done. I was like, I'm about to go run 6 miles and then I'm gonna go hit the weights, you know. And I was like, I'm gonna shadow box and go hit the weights and blah blah blah. And the dude was like, oh, you don't run? How the f do you know that? You know?
Yeah.
Who the f? I was like, excuse me? And he was like, you don't run. Look at you. I was like, the f is that supposed to mean? I was like, if you want to find out if I run or if I fight, you can find out. And he was like, man, I'll embarrass you in boxing and blah blah blah. I was like, okay. You're saying that. I was like, but you have my Instagram, bro.
Yeah.
I was like,
Set it up.
I was like, follow me on Instagram. I was like, message me, come to the gym. I was like, I'm gonna give you the fucking address. I was like, matter of fact, where's your phone right now? I'll give you an address and you can meet me and you can spar me. And when you give people that, they never message me. They never hit me up. Nobody has ever. I have never like dealt with a dumb bodybuilder or somebody who's just an athlete and just thinks that just because they're an athlete they can fight.
That's a great way to go about it, because like if you tell him like, yo, let's meet in the parking lot, it could end bad. Because
I don't even care if we meet in the parking lot, because I'll fight him right there. And even if we do meet in the parking lot, see, this is the thing. Like if you're somebody else like who can't defend themselves well enough to understand how to handle a situation, or a guy that size, then you shouldn't fight. But in my case, and I know that I can handle myself, and then I know like, dude, I'm gonna shut you the up. Like you're about to find out, you know. Like like what is it, man? He just kept going on, dude. And normally I don't like confrontation. I don't like fighting people. I don't like fighting people if I don't have to. But sometimes, man, you need an ass open. Sometimes somebody needs to get put in their place. And I'm a smaller guy, and people think because I'm a smaller guy, like it's just like a like I don't know, like they just want to try me, you know. And so I've dealt with that a lot in my life, and that's helped me, you know, build my confidence as far as fighting goes. Because most people, man, it's just show. They just want to put on a show for everybody. They just want to be looked at.
Look tough.
You know, they just want people to see them, because they don't see. They're not. They don't get enough attention. So they like, you know.
So insecurity.
It's a huge insecurity. They just want attention. They just and it doesn't matter if it's malicious intention. Like, cause think about like if okay, I have a dog, right? Let's say I abuse her, right? If she, you know, is constantly like something up. If I'm just hitting her all the time. Do you think she's going to stop it up? No. She's going to keep doing it. Why? Because if I'm not hitting her, then she's probably not getting attention. So if the only time she's getting attention is from me whooping her, then what is she going to do? Act out. Right? People aren't that far from dogs, man. And if he's like, oh, the only time I get real attention and everybody's looking at me and I'm like, you know, like the biggest presence here is when I'm just on people. So what is he going to do? You know? Just on people.
Do you think like people who have never been in a fight, or sorry, let me rephrase that. Do you think people who have been in street fights but they haven't had any like training, some people just have that killer instinct of like, okay, I can F this dude up? Like, is there people like that? Like,
I don't think so.
No.
I think if you have a lot of fights in the street, I think it's okay, and it helps you out a lot. But 9 times out of 10, bro, like you're fighting people who can't fight. You're fighting somebody who doesn't know how to fight. I don't care.
So the skill fighter is always going to win.
Yeah, skill fighter is always going to win. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're fighting somebody who doesn't know how to fight. But also, you can't sit here and have 2 months of Muay Thai training, think you're going to fuck somebody up who's been fighting in the street his whole life. You're not going to win that fight. You're not going to win. Like, you have to actually be a skilled fighter. Like, you have to actually be decent. Because, you know, I know some people that say, oh, I box. They step in the ring with me, and I pick them up bad. And then I'm like, come on, bro. I don't even have any fights. But I really do this. You know? You
train every day.
Yeah. Like, I mean, and even like, you don't even have to train every day. But like, if you were just consistently trained for a couple years, man, you could fuck up 95% of the population. That top 5% is a lot larger of a number than it sounds. But, you know, like, the odds of you getting your ass beat is slim to none. You know, like, even just instinctually, you're just going to have the reflexes because that's what you just do. Like, you're just doing it every day. But I mean, if it's somebody who like is really out there fighting every like, you know, every week or so, like if they're out here in the hood and they're just like throwing hands with everybody and they don't give a fuck. I mean, yeah, bro, they got that killer instinct, you know, and they will fight you and they will fight, but that does not mean they're a good fighter. It does not mean that they're, you know, a great fighter.
But the thing is, even if they're not a great fighter, like one thing, they might not give up that easy.
Yeah, but the problem is you build a false sense of confidence, and even boxers know this. Even professional fighters know this. Building a false sense of confidence is bad. It's really bad, because the moment you get in there with somebody who can really bang,
get humbled,
get caught, you don't want to keep going. When you get hit with some shit, you don't even want to keep going.
Yeah. You see
you
see the MMA or UFC last night?
Oh no, I didn't watch it.
I don't even follow UFC, but one of the guys just got slept.
Damn.
Like, I think it was a combo. But man, because like the UFC, I don't keep up with it, but like I've been seeing like Khabib and all these guys, like
Those guys are fucking monsters.
they just
dude.
the way they end the fight is just like by suffocating their opponents. But this fight was a little different, where it was more on the feet and
Damn. Yeah, and those guys, man, they're built different. Like, I'm not an MMA fighter, but I know, like, I can read people, and I know, like, man, you don't want to fight that guy.
Yeah,
Like,
and
that guy really knows some. Like, there's people, like, I won't even fight, man. I'm like, dude, I'm not even going to fight this guy. Like, this guy knows some shit.
some
Like,
Bosnian,
yeah,
Kazakhstan.
Look at his got cauliflower ear, bro. Like, this guy's got he's got a anklet on.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like, his feet look like they breathe every time they touch the floor. Like, dude, you don't want to fight that guy. That guy hits you kicks you one time in the leg, it's over. Like, the fight.
And if you're on the floor, it's over.
Exactly, man. This guy come boom, hit you with a crazy ass elbow. That's the guy you don't want to fight, man. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, you like, even if you're a good fighter, you know, like, bro, I don't want to fight him because it's gonna be a really hard fight, and if not, I'm probably gonna lose, man. Like, I don't want to, like, you know, why would I put myself in that situation?
Get on his side.
Exactly, dude. Yeah, man.
Let's see if it's still going. When you hear the word Islam, what comes to mind?
Honestly, it's probably gonna sound weird, but I think, like, discipline, dude. Like, to be Islamic, you have to be disciplined, right? I don't know much. I'm really uncultured. I'm really uneducated, and I know that their culture is a lot more strict.
Yeah. I mean, some people call it a religion, culture, but I think it's a way of life. Like the same thing how Khabib lives. He's a devout Muslim. But if I were to explain it very simply, like within a few sentences, Islam is basically submission to one God, and that you believe that, which is a declaration of faith when you converse, like you believe in one God, there's only one God, and that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the final messenger. So that's all it is. And we believe in Moses as a prophet, Jesus, Abraham. So we believe that the Torah and the Bible were also books of faith. So, that's just the basic explanation. Yeah.
So before, I mean, thank you for that, because I don't really know. I'm really uneducated when it comes to that. But before we go, I did want to leave you with some knowledge, man. I did want to drop this on you. Like, I had to drop this on you, bro.
Go ahead.
So if you ever are struggling, right? Do you have a job? You ever work a 9 to 5? You went to school, right? Right. So every day that you went to school, you got up, right? Because you had to be there, right? Every day that you go to work, you get up because you have to be there. Not because you want to, because I know every day that you get up and you go to work, you're like, oh, I fucking have to, right? Yeah. Right? If you just put that same amount of effort into your life, you can change the world.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I just want to leave you with that, man. Like, you, bro, you can go so far with this.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, the biggest problem with me was just consistency. I think it's for everyone. But I think, like I'm a big believer in God's timing. Like, God always puts you in situations at the perfect moment. So I think right now is, because I've been trying to do YouTube since I was like 14, 15. But like right now is like the perfect time, because like I've learned all these things throughout my time period from that moment I was 15. I'm like, okay, now I can do it. Yeah. And now it's not even about like clout or, becoming famous. It's like, this is my legacy. Like,
and that's the thing, bro. You probably had to just find the right reason before you could do it. You probably had to find that real purpose before you could elevate into your life, into who you're really trying to be. Yeah. Into the person that you're actually becoming.
Last question just came to mind, like, are you afraid, like, okay, I get famous, I get big, or not even famous, just like a following, are you afraid of like cancellation, deplatforming?
I mean, I guess, man, but I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I'm gonna say what I have to say, regardless. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say, and I'm gonna say it how I say it. Like, I should be protected by the First Amendment. And I know people want to protect their platforms, and that's their platform, whatever. But if that's the case, if I make it far like that and I get canceled, fuck that, I'll make my own platform. I'll start my own
What
shit.
if like someone brings up stuff from your past?
Everybody's got dirt.
That's true.
Everybody's got dirt. Like I was telling you, like Tupac was saying about that Rose, man. There's an interview. It's a beautiful interview. You should watch it.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, he was like, to see a rose come up out of concrete, that's one of the most beautiful things you can ever see in your life. He said, and you don't even understand what that rose had to go through and what it was, you know, what it went through to get there. He was like, but why do we shame other people when they rose up out of some concrete? You know, so like, why would you shame somebody for them rising up out of that? Yeah, I had my past. Yeah, I did some dirt, dude. I was a person. I was the worst kind of person. The kind of person that would just tear you down because you were doing more than me. That would just try to find any flaw in you and be like, oh man, you're not worth anything. And that was done to me a lot though. And I just repeated that. And you know, I lived that, bro. And so, I mean, we all got dirt, man. I'm not ashamed of mine. I've been a piece of and, you know, I'm happy to say that I'm not as bad anymore. I'm still working on myself.
That's awesome. But yeah, hop on Rumble.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, we're gonna get on it.
All right, bro.
Yeah,
thanks
bro.
Thanks for the.
Yeah, thank you for coming through, bro. This shit was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we gotta do this.